Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy hump day, everyone. Before we get to the charts, I do want to point your attention here to pivotbossmasters.com/profits. Today is day 3 of our live training schedule. We have updated our starting time for the next couple of days to 8 a.m. Central Time here, trading the open with the Thrust Reversal Pro. Yesterday was our first day live using the tool here for our traders in PivotBoss Masters, and it was a tremendous day. Perfect rejections with the tool at both extremes of the day's range. Yesterday's low was perfectly marked, with at least one member mentioning she has already paid for her membership with yesterday's trading the open with Thrust Reversal Pro session. So again, jump into the room here. We're going live again for the next 3 days for the PivotBoss Masters training. This again, pay once, and any live sessions down the road, any new proprietary tools are yours at no additional cost. It is a one-time fee membership here. Jump in, 30-day money-back guarantee as well. All right, let's take a look at the charts. Looking at the ES in the daily time frame here, the previous session, big time reversal, thrust reversal back down, rejection on the lows back up, and finishing the day just off the midpoint of the day. A bit more bullish extreme here in overnight and pre-market trading. Very, very bullish on the intraday charts. The intraday slope of VWAP is very bullish, and when that's the case, hard to fade into that strength as of right now, but we are just above the previous session's highs. There is a small box that is developed above the previous session's highs in the intraday time frame. That's going to be something to watch there. A failure of 67.22 half opens up the potential to drop back toward intraday VWAP, currently 67.10, perhaps even back into the previous session's close, 66.85. So we could be looking at a fill back into the range below if a failure at the high occurs. So we're going to be watching for signs of rejection there, but again, not trying to front run the strength right now on an intraday basis at the moment unless a rejection is seen. All right, looking at the NQ, very bullish here as well for the NQ in overnight and pre-market trading. Not quite to the previous session's high. Now, this one here, rejection at the edge yesterday, thrust reversal signal all the way across the range, failed new low here, and a rally back up, and then it finished with a pullback here into the midpoint of the day. That right there is a new key range for yesterday's market, and that could suggest an inside day today, or at least further trading range action within the boundaries of the last 3 days. So again, breakouts to the upside could be low probability opportunities right now unless it really proves it, and instead at the edges we could be looking for fade opportunities back into the range below as this market likely continues to develop here near the center point of this larger impulse move down from last Friday. So still building that energy right now. A lot of back and forth. This market is susceptible right now to headline risk, so the swings back and forth are swift, volatile, high range price action right now, so mind your risk. Looking at crude oil, this one's up marginally right now, just over 0.1% at the moment. This one's holding the 58 zone. Now 58's been a long time coming, but 54 is the next major support level down. So if we were to continue to see weakness here, 54s is the next zone down. The next time to sell into that zone may be after we get a 1 or 2 or 3 day push to the upside. Every time we've gotten a multiple day move up, we've seen this thing get hit back down. So if we get a 1 or 2 day lazy push to the upside, call it a retest of 60, that could lead to a drop into 54s down below, up ahead. So this market's still working its way down toward the 54 level. Looking at gold futures, up another 1.25% today. New all-time highs, or new highs here again. Let's see, 42.35s. I mentioned before 42.50 is the next kind of market structure style move to the upside. Right now we're just kind of forecasting into the wind here to the upside as this thing continues to hit every single target. Now again, because the original market structure was 500 points, this move right here, 3,500, that wasn't 3,500 right here, 3,500 here down to about 3,100. That's a 400 point little pullback there. That gave us that target. That was hit very quickly. But there was a bigger, broader pullback back here, which was, again, 3,500 here, down to 3,000 there. That 500 point market structure up was already hit. And if you blast through there, you may go halfway into the next 500 structure. That's why 4,250 was the next kind of target zone up. Now, at some point here, the party may stop, at least momentarily, and it's going to be a super high range rejection day. But even when we got something similar several days ago, you've seen we've zoomed right back up. So again, this is not a market to sell into. This is a market to continue to ride to the upside. Every pullback is a buying opportunity until we see significant rejection. All right, looking at the YM. Here's the YM here. The previous session, tremendous reversal, especially off the lows. Wick reversal in the 60-minute time frame, thrust reversal in the 15-minute time frame for a reversal back up, an outside day close to the upside. G squat day here, so bullish and increased volume on that bar as well. Now approaching the highs of that range. So this again is going to be very important level here. The previous session's high, that's at the 46,743s. 743s right here. We're coming into it now. Maybe we get a bit beyond it into 800. And again, if there's some rejection that happens at that extreme, it wouldn't be surprising for a rotation back into today's range. 46.6, maybe down to 46.4 as we trade back and forth here. So continuing to watch the previous session's high to see how that plays out here. But overall, the way that the YM looks, especially against the ES and the NQ, very bullish. Very bullish. Failed new low, a recovery to the upside, especially after a massive drop on Friday. That looks very similar to any one of these types of moves that we've seen already in the past, that ultimately, while there might be a little back and forth initially, they ultimately rotate to the upside. Is that more of what we're going to see up ahead? So still bullish overall. Now looking at Bitcoin here, 0.7% lower. You can see this one does not look like the ES, the NQ, the YM. It doesn't look like gold here. This one, big time rejection, especially at the edge. Big time continuation down. A lack of bounce or recovery. And when you have a lack of recovery like that, that means you need to continue to seek lower pricing, lower price discovery until responsive bulls get off the sidelines and defend price. So until price gets cheap enough here to defend. Is that 105, 107 half? Is that a little lower into VWAP? Remember, we have this expanding range here. And where's the lower edge? Somewhere into 102 half could be where we go up ahead. So again, the 108 zone is kind of a big level here. You start to fail, transition through that level, maybe there's more downside ahead. You bounce there or bounce anywhere here and recover 108s. There's a good rotation that could bring us right back up within the range, and that is a good move. That's a good swing move, even if ultimately we turn right back down. So on this drop here, watching for signs that would develop a strong low that can be faded from a short-term basis. Or do we see more of a breakdown of market structure that gives us a longer-term entry opportunity? Watching Bitcoin for that potential move ahead. Looking at ETH, this one's down about 1/3%. Similar reaction here recently on a rejection at 48, a big time drop. We mentioned pre-market on that day. If we failed through 43, it opens up the downside in a big way. It all happened in one day. Tremendous movement there. Big time distribution up here after the tremendous rally from 1400. Which way do we go out of this range? Are we done with the downside? This was a higher low. That's a low here. They're both impulse lows, so you got double key range lows here. Where's the potential low here? Do we just get into about 36 and start to bounce it back? Is it 37 and start to bounce it back a bit across the range? Or do we need more downside price discovery for a broader pullback? Because as I mentioned before, if we drop as deep as, say, 2,800 here, that could be tremendous for the next double opportunity down the road, depending on how far this thing pulls back. So we got to measure and see how much of a pullback we get. A little bit of a rounded top distribution style pattern here. Do we get that break up ahead? All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. And remember, PivotBoss Masters Live Day 3 begins today. We'll see you in the trading room. Take care.